Hi everyone, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi coming to you live 5 p.m. Pacific time, well, a couple minutes before 5, Thursday, September 17th, here to do our regular Q&A talking about U.S. immigration. So thank you all for joining live on Instagram, JQK Law Firm on Thursdays. We're live on Instagram and on TikTok live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Immigration lawyer John is the TikTok name. Just as you're coming in, feel free to post your questions and let me know what's going on. Usually we have a lively flow of just constant barrage of questions that I like because I can answer them quick, bam, 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 if I can. Some of them I can't. And as a reminder, this is for general information only, not case-specific stuff. You need to consult with an immigration attorney in private about your individual case for that kind of advice. But we try to just talk about general stuff here to help you out to have a better understanding of what's going on with the immigration process. And one note, if you are interested in a fiance or marriage type family case, go to this website and download my free Ultimate Marriage Green Card guide. I call it ebook, sometimes call it guide, sometimes guide, it sounds nicer. Just go to www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook. Even though I said guide, I put ebook at that. It's www, you got to type in that www. So it's www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook and download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide that really breaks down. It's 40 pages. It's the best one out there. You're going to get it for free unless you buy a book that's like hundreds of pages that breaks it down. Really basic to learn the strategy of a marriage-based case or fiance-based case, and from there be able to talk with attorney intelligently and know what's going on and what they're asking about, so you can ask better questions and judge whether the strategy they have, the process they have is appropriate or not. So it's really the first step in starting that process. So with that, let's get it started. All right, so we have a lot of people coming in. We got a big jump on people on TikTok. Thank you for joining. Please shoot out your questions if you had any. We have a lot of regulars that have new people. I come and talk about U.S. immigration law, which is just wild because it changes every day. The diversity visa green card lottery was a program that was, a lot of you may know about. President Trump shut it down this year because of COVID-19 and because of this other ban. A judge said that no, it has to go forward. So, okay, they're trying to schedule the appointments for people that did the green card lottery so they get up and running because there's a deadline where the visa has to be issued by the embassy by the end of September. Well, a colleague just posted that their client went to the interview and was denied because they said their passport photo was too shiny. I was like, what? So we'll see. That's probably going to be a lawsuit right there. But you don't know what to expect when you're doing these visa interviews. That would have been the last thing I expect would come back from an immigration officer or a consular officer. But with U.S. immigration, you never know what's going on. And a lot of it is out of our control. Maybe after the fact, we clean it up by filing complaints and lawsuits, or at the beginning, try to make it as clean and simple as possible to avoid problems. But it's a lot of individual judgment, so it's very hard to say what's going on. Now, we have a question about when the embassy in Pakistan is going to open up, this and that. Visit the embassy's website if you have questions about when the embassy is going to open up for interviews, or if they're doing interviews for particular types of cases. Maybe check their Twitter account, or maybe even email them to ask. But each case is different, and each embassy does things differently, so I don't answer specific questions for those here. As I said, just contact them, go to their website, go to their Twitter account, and try to look into what's going on with them, so you can have a better idea of what the situation is immigration-wise. And I know it's a major question that gets asked, but I said this example before. The U.S. Embassy in Israel keeps scheduling times for the appointment, for the interview, and then canceling them. It's been doing that every month for months now, so there's no way to judge. Sanad asks, I haven't received my biometrics for citizenship. I applied in June 2020. Yeah, so just wait. That's not a big deal. They're backed up. Shazio says, hello to you too. Thank you for joining us on TikTok, Immigration Lawyer John, and thank you for people on Instagram as well. Good to see we have a little bit of a group coming in together. What else is going on? Well, it's kind of overwhelming also what's going on. FA says, hey John, hey to you too. Let me know what city you're from. I just talking with another immigration attorney right now about all the difficulties USCIS is putting ahead of us. I mean, we had a reference about the biometrics appointment. They're going to want to make the biometrics appointment much tougher. For example, they're going to want voice prints. They're going to want more DNA testing. They're going to want iris scans. So they're doing a lot of things just to make people less likely to even bother going through the process. Milo asked, my work permit expired. Can I drive expired? Well, yeah, I think I'd asked me that yesterday. You driving in the United States is based on your driver's license for the state that issued it, not your work permit. So that's a completely different thing. Now, a lot of times their driver's license, the length of time before it expires is up to the employment authorization work permit. So if your driver's license expired, no, you're not supposed to drive. And that's the basic issue of that. You need to have a driver's license to be able to drive. So So that's that. Iran says, after applying for naturalization, can I go outside the country? These days will be calculated for my 920 days outside the United States. No, after you apply, you can just do your regular travel. They don't get deducted for your dates. It's really, the deduction is based on at the time of filing, how many days you had within the United States in 5 years previous. But those same rules of, not being outside for 6 months and stuff could apply. You really don't, it depends on what kind of travel you're doing. There's a lot that goes into it. I don't want to give too case specific. You generally can travel after filing for citizenship, but if you barely have your 12 days already, or 917, however much it's supposed to be, there might be other issues already involved in your case. So they might already be skeptical that you're already residing here when you ask me a question like that. So I'd be cautious. If you need to travel, but avoid traveling. So it's going to take a while to get a citizenship, but just keep your trips short, and don't make sure they're not violating any specific sanction or issue like that. Again, these are very case-specific stuff. They should contact the immigration in private to discuss. Afzali Fat says, hello, can I apply for citizenship in October since my 5 years will complete in February? I don't know. I don't know your case. So if it's 5 years, you could file 90 days before that. So let's say it's February 15th, 93 days, December, they said February, January, December, November. No, October is more than 3 months. So if you go to Google, type in N400 90-day calculator, and you'll go to the USCIS website, and it has a calculator there that calculates when you could file, depending on the 5-year base of when your green card, 5 years after your green card is issued. And it gives a date, what's the first date you can file. But keep in mind, this is just the one criteria, the time limit you have to have your green card for. There's other eligibility criteria for citizenship, so I have to look at that too. But October seems pretty early, because it's November, December, January, if the 5 years is on February. So I'm not sure where you got that number to jump ahead of time. MFL says, I'm in Africa. Well, correct. Well, nice. What part of Africa? I've been thinking to myself, a lot of people always say, Africa, this, Africa. Africa has like a bunch of countries, Usually people from Europe usually sail from Germany, from France, or people from Asia say I'm Chinese or Japanese or something like that. What part of Africa? I'd like to know. It's very important to know and to promote different cultures there, because they're all so different. Alfiat says, to avoid the fee increase. No, I mean, you got to just pay it. Usman says, hi, can you please tell me what is the estimated time to get a green card interview from Brooklyn? No, I can't. It varies depending on the case. How long does USCIS take to deposit the checks you send them for a processing fee? Anywhere from 1 week to 4 weeks on average. It's kind of annoying that that's like that. On Instagram, DARPA asked, do you think Trump will extend immigration ban after December 31st? I don't know. That's up to Trump. So yeah, ask him. Tweet him. Yeah, I think he sometimes answers. I'll probably say no, he's definitely gonna extend it, but who knows? Amen asks, I just done my oath ceremony certification. Can I apply for USA passport? How long will it take? You can. How long will it take? It depends on the local office, how long they want to take. They're really backed up right now, so it's taking weeks, but you could go to the post office or the federal passport office or something like that. Timetables vary, so I can't answer that. Abdullah says, October is a new year for the USCIS. Yeah, well, government agencies have their new year, the fiscal year, restarting on October 1st. So there's a lot of adjustments that happen, particularly a visa bulletin, for example, and their funding stuff that happens. But that's it doesn't really affect your case, but that's just an internal thing. Santoshi says, is U.S. Embassy, we got a lot of questions about Pakistan embassy opening, so I don't have an answer on that. Just have to contact them and see what they say. Sonia asks, hi, I came with my mom. I am in U.S. almost 4 years and 5 months. Can I apply for citizenship? No, you could file for citizenship if the rest of the, as I talked about earlier, eligibilities are there 90 days before hitting the 5-year mark. So it's too soon at the 4-year, 5-month mark to do that. Unless you've been married and living with a U.S. citizen, and that makes it a little bit earlier, but there's that limitation. All right, let's see. Sorry. TikTok is the best. It makes it so easy to do this. Every other app from between Instagram and YouTube, all this stuff, when I go live, it's just so, like, the functioning of the questions is so annoying. TikTok really is good. I think they're being sold. We'll see what happens, It's going to be interesting if TikTok stays. or doesn't stay, or what happens. Such a growing fast community. So yeah, we get a lot of questions every day about the embassy in Pakistan, embassy in Mumbai. I don't have any answers about that. I don't think they know at the embassy what's going on either, because it's just a day-by-day kind of thing. And the calculation for citizenship is really important. I'll probably, you know, I have this guide, this ultimate marriage green card guide, where I break down the marriage green card process. I was going to write a new guide that's going to be full and everything about student visas, but I think I just might do it for citizenship, because this question about timing is really important, and that people ask a lot. So I think it's an important one to do. Thank you, DH. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Good to see the thumbs up. So let me know if you have any questions. What's popping on? We came a little early today, so we got some questions in early. But, you know, it's Thursday today. Finally, the fires are dying down, at least the smell of it, in Los Angeles. So that's been really good. You know, we're dealing with it here. Finally got out of the house, get some fresh air, get some green behind me. So we ask, how do I get a driver's license with asylum pending? Well, you need to have proof of work authorization, so apply for that, and then once you get it, go get your driver's license. Katasha asks, hi, I applied for I-485 application August 1st, but I still don't get my receipt to know my document. Okay, so essentially you're saying you're not getting your receipt yet. Right now it's September 17th, October 1st. So there's a major issue, Katashi. Did they cash the check in your case? If not, maybe they just didn't get it. It's a major issue right there. You need to consult with an attorney, contact USCIS, kind of look into it, check the mail, make sure they delivered it. There's a lot of things that could be happening. And then ask, I-485 application is pending. Me and my wife in different state due to my job. Will that be an issue? Well, I did a video of this. If you go to YouTube, JQK Law Firm's YouTube page, and you can catch it there where I break it down. And for me to be able to answer that case specifically, I need to know your specific situation, like what's going on in your life that you're living in different states. So I can't tell you if it'd be an issue. And it could be an issue, definitely, or it could have a easily explainable thing. I wish you had an immigration ahead of time so you could prepare the application with the documents that you submit to be able to answer that before the officers even get to it. So I don't know what you submit in your I-485, if you're consistent or not, what kind of evidence or documentation you had. So that's one strike right there, but you can still salvage it, but talk with the immigration in private to see what's going on with their case and how to explain the issue, if it is an issue, that you're living separately, and see if it's good enough or if you could bolster it some. Musi asks, what should I do if USCIS didn't give me answer after my interview? It's been 2 months. You just wait. Tony asks, NBC approved all the papers for my family. Do I need to make an appointment for medical? No, once the National Visa Center approves of the document saying it's documentarily qualified, you need to wait for an appointment notice. Once you get an appointment notice, that's the time you schedule a medical appointment for the doctor, what is it called? Not a civil surgeon, but a panel physician, because you also need to take the appointment notice. You need to print it out, the email that you get, and take it with you for the doctor to see. So just be patient. Whenever you get the notice about scheduling an appointment with USCIS, with the embassy, the time to come for interview, that's the time that you want to schedule a time with the doctor. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate the thumbs up. If y'all haven't already on Instagram, Jerry Marshall, a great immigration lawyer, does a lot of talent-based immigration. I definitely recommend her to follow her page and to hire her. If you're going to do an O1 or a thing like that, she knows those much better than I do. We don't get a lot of questions about O1s and talent-based visas here on our live usually, but if you had a friend or family or someone or yourself were interested, Jerry Marshall is a great resource for that. I recommend her highly. All right, so Abdul asked, I applied for my citizenship 6 months ago, and until now I didn't get my fingerprints. Yeah, they were closed for a while, so things are backed up. Immigration says, hi, that's why I usually file the certified cashier check so we can see the USCIS stamp. Well, whether you do a cashier's check or a regular check, they historically would stamp it, so it doesn't have to be a certified cashier check. I send my office checks on there, but recently they haven't been stamping them with the case number. Now, once the check is cashed, that's the indicator right there that they got it. With the cashier's check, you don't know if it's happened. So like yesterday morning, I had filed a form I-75 on removal of conditions, and I saw my account $680 was deducted in my trust account where I keep client filing fees. So immediately I knew which client it was and that they accepted the case or filing because they cashed a check, even though I don't have a receipt yet or notification. So with a cashier's check, you can't tell that, so I don't like using cashier's checks, but you know, it works too. They used to put the receipt number on the check too, so you can get it that way, but recently they've been not doing that. Leslie asks, hello, my dad adopted me while being a resident before I turned 18. Am I automatically a citizen? No, not necessarily. First of all, the adoption has to be done correctly. And so a lot of people adopt and they do it incorrectly, which really messes up your whole life when it comes to U.S. immigration. Secondly, you only automatically become U.S. citizen if your father or was a citizen before you were born. So I'm not sure the adoption setting that'll work. What you probably should have been done is file for your green card, and once you obtain your green card and you're in the United States before the age of 18, that's when you automatically become a citizen upon entry into the United States as a lawful permanent resident. It may be. There's a lot of different ifs and buts in that, so I don't want to say that's exactly it. I need to know the facts of your case. When, again, as the first mentioned, how the adoption happened, when it happened, how many years your stepdad or your adoptive father was in the United States. And there's a lot of analysis I need to do to be able to answer that properly. So you need to talk with a lawyer in private to see if that's the case. Leslie says, how would I apply? If so, how would I apply? Yeah, you need to consult with an attorney in private. Parax Salom 22. Immigration Queen says, yep, it's taking months to get receipts from USCIS. Yeah, it's pretty horrible. Also, I'm asked, USCIS denied my I-130 spouse. Oh, man. 2016, BIA denied 2. 2018, filed a lawsuit in a federal court. Still, why did they deny you at first? That's you might have just refiled. It would have been easier, but I don't know the reason why your case went downhill like that. You're welcome, Tony. Because when you get an I-130 denied, you have to appeal it to the BIA. It's kind of different from other cases. And then federal lawsuit, but what's the reason? They probably had a good reason if the BIA denied too. Hopefully it wasn't a fraud finding, because that's really difficult to overcome. It's a big hassle, but you just got to prepare for this kind of stuff and document your relationship well to avoid those kind of problems. Yeah, so what was the reason? Bona fide marriage. So you could have resubmitted. Depending on the kind of case you have, you could have potentially resubmitted. But I got to see what kind of documents you used. I hear from colleagues every once in a while, some USCIS officers really strict unnecessarily. In a person will even have kids together, and they're like, we don't believe it. You're like, do I have a kid together? We have joint bank accounts. We have a lease agreement. What else do you want? Those are kind of extreme scenarios. I've just heard of it happening. I've never had the issue. I have one case with the RFE. They requested more evidence, and in the request for evidence, they asked for like divorce certificates and the children's birth certificates. And my couple was 21, never married before, never have kids. So I was just like, what is this? What is this about? So that's that. Aslam says they assume it's fraud without evidence. Yeah, I mean, they have to provide some sort of evidence. They probably did an inspection, but it's tough. You know, I never know what the excuses they have. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. But I have to see the case and analyze it. But if it's with federal court, hopefully that works. If not, you're pretty much out of luck. I mean, you could appeal it, but you got to keep spending money for something that might not go anywhere. If they didn't find a fraud finding, you potentially just refile the case. But fraud finding could be really serious, and they've been doing that a lot more than they used to nowadays. So yeah, it's pretty obnoxious. So be prepared for that. Yeah, the I-130 process is such a mess when it shouldn't be this hard. I was talking to a colleague the other day about it, and they were saying like USCIS is just taking the fun out of doing these kind of things because they're being so like obnoxious about a lot of aspects of these cases. Nayli says, I'm a citizen. How long will it take to respond to my mom? I think you may probably apply for your mom. It varies depending on the case. Alsam says, so what do you do if a federal judge takes the case down? I don't know. I have to see your case. There's not enough, way too little information to be able to advise you. I need to analyze your case to be able to advise you individually on something like that. So just talk with the immigration attorney, get a second opinion, third opinion in private. I don't really handle federal litigation, so I wouldn't be a good source for that, but talk with other people. And the main thing is I got to see what the denial letter said, what their arguments against you were, to be able to answer any of these questions. So it's not really a forum to do that. We got to see your denial notice and see what they claimed, and then what responses you had, what kind of evidence you had. So yeah, as Leahy says, hire an attorney and talk with them. Also says, I'm in removal too since 2014. Oh, sorry to hear that. That's a horrible way to live the last 6 years of your lives. 6 years of your life. Hopefully it clears up. But you know, removal proceedings is immigration court, and they're so backed up. It takes many years, many times, maybe like where your case is pending and pending and pending. It's a bizarre situation. We're just waiting out for a court hearing. It keeps getting pushed back, and then COVID comes and cancels stuff, and you know, all these different kind of things happen, and it makes life really difficult. Nayli says, thanks, you're welcome. Alsaman says, 6 years of hell. Yeah, it sucks. Sometimes I think like I don't handle removal case anymore, but sometimes I'll look at my clients, I'm like, you know, this is so painful and so expensive and stressful. Just leave. I don't want you to leave, but it's like kind of like, oh, just get out of it. It's so annoying to be in a removal proceeding. One of the reasons I don't do deportation anymore. Just when you go there, it's just so depressing, and the odds are against you, and everything is just a bad situation to be in. I'm sorry to hear that, Salman. I hope you know, things are okay and things work out. But it's just such a difficult process to go through. I feel you. 6 years of hell is a good way exact way to put it, really, when you're in removal proceedings or deportation with immigration. Marky says, do you need a paralegal? No, I don't, but thank you for the offer. I'm full solo. I do everything myself, and I always tell my clients, you know, when you need me, get hold of me, and I know what's going on with the case because I'm doing it myself. It's not efficient because if I give work to someone else, but I feel like I know my clients better, and it's a more closer relationship with the client, so I do everything myself. I only do a few cases a month, so that's why I could do something like that. I can't accept most cases, but it's fun. I enjoy working with my clients one-on-one on a personal level. But definitely, a lot of immigration attorneys do need it, and you know, not everyone can practice the way I do, so it's definitely needed. But yeah, thanks for reaching out. Thank you for watching and following the Instagram channel. I appreciate it. People on TikTok, if you haven't already, check out the JQK Law Instagram page. A lot more postings there, videos, images about stuff. And on YouTube as well, like my approval notices, I have timelines on there, a lot more information. I give a lot of talks every month, so you have like links sometimes of some place we're gonna have a live Q&A on a particular topic. I'm doing a talk about student visas next week, about you know, employment on student visas, OPTs, CPTs, STEM, all that kind of stuff. So especially if you're a college student or international student, you get a lot of information there. Mike asks, I just got my conditional green card. Do I have to remove the conditions on my SSN? No, your social security number is going to be the same until you get citizenship. John, I'm a U.S. citizen. Where should I file a fiance visa, here in the U.S. or my fiance's country? No, the fiance visas, go check out Form I-129F. They all go to the same place when you start it. But really, the first thing to do, and it's going to be really helpful for you, is download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It's at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook. Make sure to type in the www.immigrationlaw.com/ebook. It has a guide of what you're supposed to do, and if you need to talk with a lawyer, talk with them after that. It's not everything, you know, you should consult an attorney in private, but it'll give you a good start because you have such a generalized question like which country do you file it in. That shows you're at the very beginning of analyzing the process, so that'll help you out a lot for you to know where to get the answers to a lot of things and then take it from there. Mark follows up, I'm here with you everywhere, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. Well, thank you, Mark. Mark, that's a great honor. Appreciate that, following you everywhere. You're probably seeing all the different content I'm pushing out, so and pulling out there. You know, I'm really active in the immigration games. Not only am I doing stuff on Q&As and on YouTube, doing a lot of informational videos and photos and images, I also train immigration lawyers. There's a program called the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox. I have a separate YouTube page on that. I do separate interviews and material I put out. A lot of it is behind a paywall for professionals. It's not needed for regular kind of people, but you're welcome, user 38. But so I'm really big in the game, and definitely follow it. And Mark, you know, if you're paralegal in immigration, start putting out your own material too, your own analysis of things about how you do things. So a lot of immigration lawyers get you know, get to know you, and they'll, when they're looking for somebody, they'll know who they can trust because they're dedicated to this craft. Just like I come here, talk every day, and the people see how I handle immigration cases. So you could do that. Iran, Aki, thank you too. Appreciate it. Mike says, my social security number says valid for work with only DHS authorization, so that's not going to be a problem. Well, you said, let me say, what was your question? I just got my conditional green card. Okay, yeah, if you had I thought you said you had the conditions removed. So yeah, if you had like a student visa or something like that, you could contact the Social Security office and have that removed. So you get a regular green card. My apologies, I misunderstood the question. I was thinking that you have, you already have, you had a 10-year green card, and I'm like, oh, you need to do, when you get citizenship, if you had a green card and get citizenship, you should notify the Social Security office that you're a citizen. But if you just got it in the old Social Security card before you became a green card holder, had conditions on it, yeah, just contact the Social Security office and work with them. Their procedures change constantly, especially because of COVID, so the rules might be different. But call them and have it removed. Better safe, better have it like that. Mark says, hey, you know, I filed the application for people, but not. I don't understand. As accredited. Okay. Azim says, hi, John. This is Azim Abbas. I have a green card. My wife removed the condition on my 2-year green card. Okay. Azim, I got to get the rest of your question there. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. I'm waiting for my more than 1 year. Didn't get my 10-year. Yeah, the 10-year green card takes a while. It takes over a year in a lot of cases. It sucks, yeah, it's a year and a half easy. So you just got to be patient, and if the time comes, if it's been a year, look into a citizenship, apply for U.S. citizenship if you've been living and, you know, living with your spouse and everything's cool with the spouse, a U.S. citizen too, that's a requirement. So you've been living with the U.S. citizen spouse for about almost 3 years, you can file for citizenship, even if removal of conditions is still pending. So that might be something you want to look into just to get that ball rolling if you're interested in U.S. citizenship. Whew. I feel like I talk nonstop for 20 minutes. Thanks you all for listening. I take a break. Man, take a breath right there. But it's so nice outside seeing all this. I hope you guys are doing good too. A lot of big fires in California that scared the hell out of people. And the weather in the air here was pretty gross, but it's getting better. I worked out a little bit. I have a little bench here. I do lift some weights, and I like sitting in front of this apricot tree. You can't really see it, but during the spring or so, there's tons of apricots that come here. There's actually so much, you kind of like just giving it away. I couldn't believe how much fruit this tree had. And so for those who know what fruit roll-up is, I made fruit roll-up with it. We made jam with it, so it was a lot of fun. We have jars and jars of apricot jam right now at home, and it's sitting in the fridge. Mike says, when does the USCIS do home visits if they're still doing it? I mean, it depends on the case. They rarely do it, but usually they do it after the interview. If they weren't happy with the interview, they didn't trust you, they'll do a home visit. Could do it before too, but it's rare. You gotta have some issues with your case. You know, there's got to be some questions about the legitimacy of your case for them to go and do something like that. So, yeah, I mean, if you got a good case and good documentation, it's not something I would really be worried about. I've never had it happen in my cases that I know of. I guess they wouldn't tell you if everything came out cool. But usually there's some glaring issue that causes it. Usually people don't have lawyers do that because they don't prepare it right. But yeah, that's that. The Instagram feed went down for a second, so we're back. Tony asks, is the travel ban for spouses too? Well, there's different kinds of travel bans. Some of them apply to spouses of green card holders, not the spouse of U.S. citizens. They all have an exception for spouses of U.S. citizens. But it depends on which travel ban you're talking about. So all the COVID-19 travel bans are exempt spouse of U.S. citizens. But if you're going for the security travel ban for like Iran or something like that, it still applies to spouses of green card holders, U.S. citizens. But hopefully they waive it. But it doesn't have an automatic exemption for spouses of U.S. citizens. So there's more than one travel ban. So you have to be very specific and know which kind you have. You have to check what rules are applied to that specific travel ban. Unfortunately, they don't make it easy, and that's one of the reasons why I have a job, because they made it so complicated. I have to study it every day, all day, to avoid these kind of mistakes. And people make mistakes all day. That's why I come here to try to do Q&A. Tony said, I'm a citizen. I sponsor my wife. Well, it depends on where your wife's from, what country she's from, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just schedule probably India. So there's no travel ban for India. For spouse of a citizen, there's no travel bans that apply to you. Now, you don't want your wife to have a stop, for example, in Europe on the flight here, or if she had visited Europe recently, that could be a problematic when she goes to her visa interview. But there's no specific travel bans for spouses of U.S. citizens who have been in India as spouses. So it just depends. You can mess that up again. If you go and visit Iran, for example, that's going to mess things up. Visit China, the foreign spouse, that's going to mess things up. But it doesn't necessarily apply to them. Whew. I think I'm talking too fast today. I had a consultation earlier today, and my client's Russian, and he's like, slow down. I'm like, sorry. I just started running with this kind of stuff. It was the end of the week too. One thing I'm doing, if you notice, I used to do lives every day, pretty much 7 days a week at one point. Oh, you're welcome, Tony. But I'm cracking it down. I feel like if I do very specific kind of videos where I'm talking to the camera, answering a lot of these questions will be more helpful than the live. Although I enjoy the live because it's a conversation with all kinds of people all across the world. But yeah, I feel like I'm getting just talking too fast or in the same kind of questions over and over again. So yeah, let me know if you guys had some questions. But you're gonna see me do more and more of these standalone videos that break down the process. Thought maybe that'll help with the community a lot more in these lives. Although it's been fun for the last 6 months I've been doing it. Thank you, Dr. Zainab. Thanks for joining. Eka, Bluebird, thank you everyone for joining. Let me know what city you're in or come from. Yeah, you got to learn about this live show. We got a few more minutes left. Please let me know if you have some last questions before we leave. We're gonna go how many minutes have been? 28, 29 minutes. We're hitting the 30-minute mark. I started a little early today. But if you have some last minute questions, please let me know. We'll take it from there. If not, we're gonna call it a day for today. Just could be back again Tuesday. Probably this Tuesday after that. Probably not gonna do Tuesdays and Thursdays. Just do Wednesdays on YouTube and on Instagram and on TikTok as always, Immigration Lawyer John. But I guess with that, we'll just call it a day. I hope you all have a great Thursday and the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you all next week. Till then, God bless. Be safe. Bye.